Good morning, grant lovers. It's Monday, March 31st. It's a lovely rainy Monday here in Prague today. It rained all night and it's raining today as well. I do appreciate rain. I didn't used to appreciate rain, but I do appreciate rain these days. Recently, because I've become a passionate gardener and I look at what is happening outside in terms of weather from a different perspective. So it's so good to be here. I see some people are already joining. Cool grandma, hello. I'd love to know where you are joining from. So if you could please let me know, that would be very cool. I am in Prague, Czech Republic, the heart of Europe, as we say, and hopefully the heart and the hub of Montessori in Europe as well. My name is Mirka. This is a Good Morning Grand Lovers show, talk show. Not so sure if it's a show, but it's a live talking event, and we are talking about grants. So what are grants and why am I talking about it? I will just briefly share the introduction as I do always. And if you've just joined me, please leave a note in comments. I would love to know where you are joining from. Okay, so grant money and Montessori. I am a founder of a beautiful Montessori school here in Prague. If you ever come to Prague, make sure to get in touch with us for a visit. I founded the school some years ago and then handed over the directorship of the school to someone who's been leading the school for over 10 years, and she's doing a marvelous job. Meanwhile, I founded a Montessori teacher training institute in Prague, and we've become an internationally recognized place to go to if you want to become a Montessori guide or a Montessori classroom assistant. And we also recently, some years ago, started supporting people who want to start their own Montessori programs through a program called Montessori Entrepreneurs and Montessori Marketing and Business Academy, Montessori MBA program. So this series about grant money is happening because this week on Thursday, there's going to be a free webinar on grants. And I decided that 7 days before the free webinar, I'm going to do questions and answers session every morning at 9 o'clock Central European time about what are grants and about questions that you sent me that relate to grant money. So this is why I'm doing this, and I'm very happy you're here. Please leave me a note where you are joining from. Hello, Cynthia, and hello, Vani, Melissa. It's so nice to have you. Please put in chat, in comments, not in chat, in comments where you are joining me from today. I would love to know where you're coming from, okay? So I think I am going to, normally the introduction is longer, but I think I'm just going to go ahead and start with questions because we have quite a lot of questions that I would like to go through, and I want to go through those that I planned for today. So I'm going to go ahead and start. And as I said, if you're joining me now, I would love for you to let me know in comments where you are joining from, okay? Hi to Vietnam, so nice to see you again. All right, so I'm gonna go and start with questions. Today's session overall topic is understanding the process of grant application, of applying for grants, okay? So I did explain what grants are in previous sessions. I did explain how you can use grant money for your Montessori work. I did talk a little bit about why is it important that we apply for grants in Montessori. So I'm not going to go through that, and you can go ahead and watch the recordings of previous sessions on our Facebook page or on my Instagram profile. you'll be able to locate the sessions easily because there's a cover and it says "Good morning, grant lovers." So, all right. So the first question for today is, isn't applying for grants super complicated? So this is a question somebody sent us in a survey that we did on grant money. And I want to answer that because I think that this is one of the very common obstacles that people pose when I ask, why don't you apply for grants? You know, it's such a wonderful source of income for Montessori organizations. And the reply is, isn't the process of applying for grants too complicated or super complicated? The answer to the question is, it really depends on what kind of a grant you want to apply for. Applying for grants is a process, and it's actually structured, very clear and very transparent process. So I find that when there's structure and clarity and transparency, I know what's expected of me, that it's much easier for me to supply that information. So it is a process, and when you are researching a grant funder and you're researching a grant call on the grant funder's website, what you do is you look at how the process of application, how the process of applying is structured. And so there's going to be a list of questions that you need to answer. Possibly the grant funder might have a form on the website and you can fill out the application on the website directly, or they give you a set of questions and you write it up as an essay and you give it to them in Word format or PDF. And there are, of course, more complex grant applications when you're applying for more money or for a lot of money. But when we are starting with applying for grants, we usually go for smaller grant applications that are much simpler. So the answer to the question isn't applying for grants super complicated, is no, not necessarily. And when you are a beginner grant writer, when you apply for grants for the first time, you definitely would go with a simpler, smaller grant call and with a rather simple application. I want to say one thing here at this occasion, something which I think is very important for everybody, and this doesn't necessarily only mean Montessorians, but anybody who ever wants to apply or considers applying for grants in the future, that the questions that you are going to fill out in a grant application relate to your mission, to your vision, to your values, to activities you provide, to your target group, to your clients, to the budget that you need to create for the proposal. And those are all things that you eventually need to write down anyway and create them, because you will need it for your website, for your communications. It should possibly be part of your business plan. So in a way, when people ask me about this, I reply and say, those are texts that you already need to have. Maybe you even have them already, or you need to write them up and have them in your computer, because you will need it again and again and again. So you might as well start writing those texts and then use it for your grant application. And we have a process in our course that we actually created a course which is called Grant Writing Made Easy. I'm going to be sharing about it on Thursday during the workshop. So let me show you. The workshop is happening this week on Thursday. I'm going to share my screen. There I am. Yes. Okay. So I'm giving a free workshop on Thursday, as you can see, 3 days, 7 hours, 50 minutes, 12 seconds. Only to sign up. It's a free workshop. It's called Fund Your Montessori Dream. And it's for anybody who is interested in how to improve their financial stability in 2025. Because grant funding does need to be part of our financial planning. and of our financial strategy. Again, and we'll talk about that at the workshop, okay? So in the workshop, we are going to do some practical exercises. You're going to think about your right project idea. We're going to be talking about how to find your ideal grant funder. And then I'll share with you about the process of the application, of how to write the grant application. On April 3rd at 5 p.m., you can register now and open doors to new funding opportunities. So I hope to see you on Thursday, where this whole series of episodes on grants is culminating into one big workshop on or webinar, if you want, on how to apply for grants and how to make grants part of your strategy for making your organization financially sustainable, because that's a big problem that majority of Montessori and other educational organizations are facing. All right. So having said that, let's look at one more question, at least one more. And let me see, what do I have? So I don't know how to apply for a grant and where do I start? How do I know which grants to apply for and which to skip? What's the grant application process really like? Where can I see real examples of successful proposals and how to align our Montessori project with the right grant? Okay, so quickly, where can you see real examples of successful proposals? I am going to give you some templates on Thursday that you can look at and use in your future work, in your future grant writing. So that's answered quickly. And then one more question. Let's look at which one am I going to choose? I think I'm going to go with what is the grant application process really like, because I think that still continues to be scary for people. Let me read the question one more time. What's the grant application process really like? So, okay, first of all, you know, when you find the right grant funder, you have an approximate idea of what is your grant, what is the idea or what is the project, what are the activities that you want to carry out, how do you want to help through this grant money. Then you start searching for a grant funder. You basically, what you do is you go on Google and you start researching. Again, it's, you know, you need to learn how to do that, but let's say that you come across an open grant call. This means that somebody announces, we have money available and we are now asking organizations to submit their proposals. That's called a grant call. And you are going to start reading the grant call documents, okay? So you're sitting in front of your computer, you are reading the grant call conditions, and that there somewhere in the grant call conditions is going to be, here is how you apply, okay? So you're going to study that very carefully, you're going to take notes, this is very important. You will then go ahead and start preparing your grant application, okay? And what you need to do is basically create a project, all right? So think about grant applications as a process of creating a project. And I know you are, you know, all these Montessorians who are joining and who are my Montessori entrepreneur colleagues and even heads of schools, anything that you do in your life and in your work, you can view as a project, okay? So if I want to, for example, clean out my garage and to be able to park a car there because it's full of stuff that we've collected over the years, I can view that as a project, and I'm going to go ahead and write down all the things that I need to do in order to clean the garage out. I will group it, I will put it on a timeline, decide when am I going to do which part. I'm going to make a list of what I need in order to carry those activities out in terms of money. Maybe I need some helpers, you know, I need some team to help me clean the garage out. And I'm going to make a plan. And this is what you do when you want to apply for a grant. You make a plan like this, and that plan includes introduction about your organization, about your values, mission, and vision. You will explain a little bit about your history and a little bit about your expertise. What have you carried out in the past? How have you helped? Whom have you helped? You are going to talk about your target group. This means about the people whom you help, and explain how do you know them and what motivates you to help them. And then you are going to say, and there is this target group, these clients, these people have some kind of a problem, and I would like to fix the problem by doing this and this. And it will also explain how do you know that there is a problem and what happens if that problem isn't resolved. In grant writing terminology, this is called the needs analysis. So you will explain why those clients of that particular project need those activities and how it's going to help them. Then you will also look at, okay, these are the activities, this is how we want to help, and you need to describe what does it look like when you have helped, when you have carried out those activities, and what is the change that you brought about. And it needs to be done in what is called a SMART way: specific, measurable, realistic or relevant, specific, measurable, realistic, achievable, and time-bound. This means that then you have a deadline by which you carry it out. And then the next part is budget. So when you have identified all those activities that you need to carry out, you've thought about the materials you need. In our example, in Montessori, we might include some Montessori materials or some equipment. You will need some team, you will need some time frame to carry all of that out. So you're going to put that in the application as well. You're going to describe how you're going to measure if you have achieved what you have planned, and you're going to create a budget. You're going to say this is how much it's going to cost. And then you're going to say, and of that total amount, I would like to get this and this amount from you. This and this amount we are going to cover ourselves. This and this amount somebody else will cover. Or you're going to say, we would like you to give us this whole amount. And, depending on what the situation really is. And then, you describe the impact you're going to make. You identify your indicators of success. I already talked about that. There might be some documents to attach. Maybe the grant funder is going to ask you for your bylaws, or maybe they will ask you to prove that you don't have any debt, that you pay your taxes. It really depends, grant funder from a grant funder. You might want to show some photos of your previous projects, show some reference, and it really depends on which grant call and which grant funder and how extensive all this information is. But what I want to say, and I think with this I can conclude today, that all of these things are things that you are already either have on paper, or you have it in your computer, or you have it in your head, okay? You're not creating something new. You're going to describe, for the most part, you're going to describe what you already are doing, and chances are that you actually have that already done. So the task is merely to take all of that information that you already have and put it in that grant application and make it sound as a compelling argument. Why is it that you should get this money? All right. So I think I'm going to conclude with that. I will one more time. I haven't put the link for the workshop in chat yet, so I'm going to do that right now. I want to one more time invite you to come for the workshop. It's a free workshop for people who want to learn how to apply for grant money. I'm putting it in chat here. It's happening this coming Thursday at 5 p.m. Central European Time. We are now on summertime tonight. So you're welcome to join. All you need to do is go to this website and sign up. And I'll be talking, we'll be covering a little bit of theory, just very briefly, some basics, because I have answered a lot of the theory already in these questions and answers. on Thursday, but I would really like for you to leave that workshop with specific transformation. So you will actually leave the workshop with the understanding and the hope that you can get grant money for your Montessori work as well, okay? So I see some people just joined, so I'm just going to put a link for the workshop in chat one more time for those who just came. And again, I'm going to be here on our social media again tomorrow at 9 o'clock. Tomorrow is Tuesday. Again on Wednesday morning at 9 o'clock, and again on Thursday morning at 9 o'clock. So you can come and listen. We have so many more unanswered questions. You can also leave your question here in comments. I am going to see it and I can answer it. If you leave me your question, I can answer your specific question. And I want to also invite you today in the afternoon at 4 o'clock for an interview I'm going to be doing with Hanka Chramostova, who is the leader of our Montessori school in Prague. She has also become a very skilled grant writer. I think that school is probably the best school getting grant money in the whole world, and I'm not kidding, in the whole world, the best Montessori school in getting grant money in the whole world. So today at 4 p.m., again, Central European time, interview with Hanka Chramostova, leading world expert on getting grants for Montessori schools. Okay, so don't miss it. Today at 4 o'clock, she and I are going to be talking about grant money and how she was able to get grants for her Montessori school. Okay, so everybody on Instagram, everybody on LinkedIn, everybody on YouTube, and everybody on Facebook, you're all invited. I will also put a note in the Instagram chat. I hope I'll see you at 4. Today at 4 p.m. CET, interview with the world leading expert on grants for Montessori schools, Hanka Chramostova. So I hope you can come today and then again tomorrow morning at 9 o'clock. And again, do remember you are invited for the workshop on Thursday at 5 p.m., where we are going to sort of close this all up into one meaningful transformation for yourself. So today I don't have coffee. Today I have strawberry yogurt drink. So whatever you are drinking, cheers to your health and cheers to a beautiful Monday wherever you are. And I'll see you either today at 4 p.m. or tomorrow at 9 a.m. Thank you. Love you, grant lovers.